thought I was waking up to a peaceful day off. But before the morning was over, almost every corner of our small Hanoi home seemed to be asking for my attention. Welcome back to Life with Thu. Today, I am starting my day off at home, enjoying a quiet morning, moving my body for a little while, and then giving our home the deep cleaning I have been putting off. Most of my mornings begin with work messages, meals to prepare, and a long list of things my 2 sons may need. My husband often works far from home, so many of the everyday responsibilities stay with me. Even before I get out of bed, my mind is usually moving faster than my body. But this morning felt different. I did not have to rush to the office, keep checking the time, or hurry through breakfast. The house was still quiet. Warm sunlight was coming through the windows, and I could hear the familiar sounds of Hanoi beginning another day. Motorbikes passed outside. Doors opened. Small shops came to life. Hanoi is never completely silent. But early in the morning, the city feels softer. For a few rare minutes, I could simply enjoy being at home. Before starting the housework, I decided to exercise. I spend many hours sitting at work, replying to customers, writing down orders, checking sizes, and preparing clothes. By the end of the day, my shoulders often feel tight and my lower back feels tired. A few simple stretches, slow movements, and deep breaths help loosen my body and prepare me for the day. After a few minutes, I begin to feel warmer and more alert. I stretch my legs, move my shoulders, and try to hold each position a little longer. For these few minutes, I am not thinking about the bathroom, the kitchen, the laundry, or the dust collecting in the corners. I am only listening to my breathing and enjoying the calm of the morning. When I finally sit down to rest, I feel more awake and more prepared. Then I look around the room again. The bathroom needs a deep cleaning. The kitchen needs attention. The laundry basket is full. The balcony needs to be cleaned, and a few wooden edges have started peeling away. My peaceful morning is almost over, and the real work of my day off is about to begin. The moment I put away my exercise mat, the mood of the day changed. The house began showing me everything I had been too busy to notice during the week. I decided to start with the loose wooden edges because the glue would need time to dry. The furniture was still strong, and replacing it would have been unnecessary and expensive. I cleaned the loose areas, applied a small amount of glue, pressed the edges carefully back into place, and left them alone while I worked on the rest of the house. My husband would normally help with small repairs like this, but because he often works far from home, I have learned to handle many little problems by myself. I am not always confident, and I do not always know the best method. I simply try to move slowly, use what I already have, and avoid wasting things that can still be useful. Once the glue was in place, I moved to the bathroom. This was the area I wanted to avoid most, so I chose to finish it before I could change my mind. I put on my gloves, prepared the cleaning supplies and started with the sink, the floor, and the corners around the shower area. In a small home, even a little dirt can make the entire room feel uncomfortable. With two children using the bathroom every day, water spots, soap residue, hair, and dust build up quickly. I scrubbed the surfaces, rinsed the floor, and worked on the places that are easy to ignore when I am tired after work. The job was repetitive, but watching the old marks slowly disappear gave me a quiet sense of satisfaction. Cleaning is strange that way. Most people do not notice every small task when it has been completed, but everyone feels the difference when it has been neglected. When the bathroom finally looked fresh again, I stood for a moment and let myself enjoy the result. It was only one room, but the whole house already felt lighter. Next came the kitchen. This is where I prepare most of our family meals, so it becomes messy faster than almost any other part of the house. On busy workdays, I usually wash the dishes, wipe the counter, and leave the deeper cleaning for another time. Today, I want to reach the places that are easy to forget. I wiped the cooking surface, scrubbed away the grease, cleaned the sink, and worked around the cabinets and walls. The kitchen is not large, but every surface seems to collect something. A few drops of oil become a sticky layer. Dust gathers behind containers. Crumbs hide under the table. None of these jobs looks difficult on its own, but together they take time. While I cleaned, I thought about how quickly housework returns. The floor becomes dusty again. The dishes come back. The laundry basket fills almost as soon as it is emptied. Still, I do not clean because I expect the house to remain perfect. I clean because a fresh kitchen makes cooking easier. A clean bathroom makes the children more comfortable. And an organized room helps all of us feel calmer at the end of the day. By the time I finished the kitchen, my arms were already tired. But I was not even halfway through my list. The balcony still needed attention. The clothes were waiting to be washed, and the afternoon was moving faster than I expected. I carried the cleaning supplies toward the balcony and began clearing the space. It is one of the smallest parts of our home, and one of the easiest to neglect. Dust from the street settles there quickly, especially during dry days in Hanoi. I moved the household items out of the way, wiped the glass, cleaned around the plants, and swept the floor carefully. The balcony is where I dry our clothes and keep a few things that do not fit inside. When it becomes crowded, the space feels smaller and less useful. As I cleared the space, more light came into the room, and the whole home began to feel brighter. Once the balcony was clean, I started the laundry. With two growing boys, the basket never stays empty for long. Shirts, shorts, towels, and everyday clothes seem to appear faster than I can wash them. I separated everything, loaded the machine, and used the washing time to continue working. I wiped the refrigerator, cleaned the dining table and chairs, organized the children's belongings, and swept the floors from one end of the room to the other. By then, my back was tired, and my hands felt dry from the water and cleaning products. I stopped for a moment, drank some water, and looked around. The house was not perfect, but it looked completely different from the morning. The bathroom felt fresh. The kitchen surfaces were clean. The balcony was open again. The laundry was ready to be hung in the warm air. I checked the wooden edges I had glued earlier, and they were holding in place. That small result made me happy because a simple repair had saved us from replacing something we could still use. When the last clothes were hanging to dry, I put away the cleaning supplies and finally sat down. My day off had become a full day of work, but the quiet satisfaction was worth it. A clean home does not stay clean forever, especially with children, but for that moment, everything felt peaceful and under control. The cleaning was finally done, but the most meaningful part of my day was still ahead. I checked the time and realized I needed to leave. My older son was finishing basketball practice, and the daylight was already beginning to fade. I changed into fresh clothes and went to meet him. The streets were still busy, but the light had softened. When I arrived, he was moving around the court with the other children, tired but happy. I like seeing him enjoy something that belongs to his own growing world. As children get older, their lives slowly begin to expand beyond the home. They find new interests, new friends, and new confidence. Watching him on the court reminded me that my job is not only to keep him safe, but also to give him room to grow. When practice ended, he gathered his things and came toward me. On the way home, I told him that we would not be spending the evening in our newly cleaned house. My father had recently returned from the hospital, and he was still weak. We went home to pick up my younger son, and then the three of us left to visit my parents. After spending the day caring for our home, the most important part of my day was still waiting for us. My parents live with my younger brother, his wife, and their two daughters. Whenever we visit, the house becomes lively very quickly. My sons enjoy seeing their cousins, and the children always find something to play with together. Their voices filled the room almost immediately, but my attention went straight to my father. He had only recently returned from the hospital, and seeing him again brought me both relief and sadness. I was grateful that he was home, sitting with the family, but he looked much thinner and weaker than before. My father has asthma and acid reflux, and lately he has only been able to eat a little at a time. Even when food is placed in front of him, he only manages a few small bites before he feels uncomfortable. He has lost weight. His face looks tired. The strength I once took for granted is no longer there in the same way. When I was younger, I always saw my father as someone strong. He worked, carried heavy things, solved problems, and protected the family without asking for attention. I never imagined how painful it would feel to watch that strong man struggle with something as simple as eating enough or breathing comfortably. At one point, my family helped set up his oxygen so he could breathe a little more comfortably. The room became quieter, and all of us watched him carefully. There were no words that could make breathing easier for him in that moment. I could only sit near him, look at his tired face, and feel how deeply I still needed my father in my life. No matter how old I become, I am still his daughter. Part of me wanted to ask him to stay strong forever, even though I knew that was impossible. My sons were nearby, playing with my brother's two daughters. Their laughter moved through the house while my father rested. That sound made the moment even more emotional. Life was continuing around him. The grandchildren were growing. The adults were carrying new responsibilities. And my parents were slowly becoming the ones who needed care. When we are children, we believe our parents will always be strong. We call them when we need help, advice, reassurance, or simply a familiar voice. Then one day, we begin to notice their slower steps, their smaller meals, and the way they become tired more easily. That is when we understand how precious every ordinary visit really is. I could not cure my father's illness that evening. I could not return his body to the strength it once had. But I could be there. I could bring his grandchildren to see him, sit beside him, listen to him, and remind him that he was surrounded by people who loved him. Earlier that morning, I had taken care of my body. During the day, I had taken care of our home. By evening, I understood again that the people we love are the reason any of that work matters. Family is one of the most sacred things we have. A clean home is comforting, and work is necessary. But the people who live in our hearts give meaning to everything else. If you are watching this from far away and you have not spoken to your parents recently, please do not wait for a perfect time. Call them today. Ask whether they have eaten. Ask how they slept. Ask how they are really feeling. And then listen to their voices for a few minutes. A few minutes may feel small today, but one day they may become some of your most precious memories. Tonight, I am grateful that my father is home, that my mother is beside him, that my children can still laugh with their cousins, and that our family can still sit together under the same roof. Love does not always arrive through grand gestures. Sometimes it is simply cleaning a home, picking up a child, sitting beside a tired parent, or making a phone call while there is still time.